Hey Megalithomaniacs, here we are at Lepakshi Temple in India. This is the first temple I visited, and immediately we're seeing something seriously megalithic. So this is the Lepakshi bull statue made of solid granite, facing towards the main temple, which is in that direction. And you can see this is a remarkable monument here, and it's quite unique because it's out on its own. There's nothing else here, and it has been suggested this whole town used to be the temple itself, not just this and the temple separately. And we'll see some features around it. We'll have a look at it from above. It's usually associated with a lingam. I've been watching Praveen Mohan's video about this because there should be one here, but actually it's actually in the temple itself. And we'll see that it's an unusual one because it's, rather than be associated with the bull inside the temple, it's associated with serpents or nagas, which we'll look at in a moment. But let's get in here and have a look closely around this, see if we see any interesting features. And you can see on top there, we come around this side, you see it's got like kind of horns coming off the back. Now if you actually stand between that, between those two kind of horns, that faces exactly towards the lingam. If we continue around here, we can see it's beautiful carving, and we have all these kind of nubs and different carvings on here. But when we get in the main temple itself, where we're heading now, we'll see much, much more. So we're now going into the main part of the Lepakshi Temple. So we're just looking at the outer wall. This was only supposed to have been built a few hundred years ago, like about 500 years ago. But you can see there's like polygonal stonework here. Now, I didn't expect to see that, although this is technically one of the later parts of the site. But I believe, as many others do, that there was an earlier megalithic element here, and this got incorporated into these later outer walls, much like we find in many different parts of the world. So we have a beautiful doorway here. Now this is like, these are made out of solid chunks of granite, much like many of the stones that make up the outer wall. We have these kind of what were once towers, I believe. Already you can see beautiful carvings just all around the top here, all the way down the side. It's almost built upon like a bedrock hill. Some giant pillars, like lintels, making up the roof of the first part of the entrance. So already we're seeing megalithic elements we've barely even got into place yet. And you can see here the bedrock it's all kind of built upon. This is remarkable. Beautiful stonework. So we're gonna, and you can see the lintels up here. This is quite megalithic. This is my first taste of a proper temple here in India. This is really surprising. And you can see even like the shape of these are like T-pillars. Beautiful reliefs all over them with parts hanging down. Telugu script carved in the bedrock and on the walls here. Can you make that out? Now reading, that's a whole other story. We've got footprints, small footprints here, just in the rock there, but we're going to see some very large ones any moment. So just down here we have like a nub, but this is actually a turtle nub. This isn't your standard nub. This is like actually the shape of a turtle by the looks of it. But look, you see it's a relief carving of the highest order. So we're now heading into the interior of Lepakshi Temple. A lot of people here today. It's a holiday weekend. So here we have the hanging pillar, which is said to be not touching the ground, like it's levitating. This is amazing. So you can actually run a sheet right underneath it, and actually it appears to be hanging from the ceiling. We look up here. But there is actually a point, a small part in one of the corners where it actually does touch the ground. So this is what's balancing it here. Amazing. You can see here that they're pulling a sheet underneath it to show you that it's hanging. But is it really hanging? Or has it been affected by when the English came and they tried to adjust the pillar? Seems that might be the case if you look at the official records. So it's not actually hanging, it's actually balancing on one point just at the base. It's very busy today. Barely move, but you can just see behind me the incredible nature of it, and the fact that we have the hanging pillar there, which is actually balanced on a point, but it's just one of the many aspects of this temple. We have the bull, we have the giant footprint we're going to see, the hanging pillar, there's other effigies of strange serpent-headed figures, with the lingam especially. Let's get in, let's keep moving around and see what we can find. You can just see the beautiful frescoes on the ceiling, and the carvings everywhere. Thousands of people going into the Holy of Holies, which has a huge goddess. So you have a mini temple here, just carved out of the bedrock. Oh, the lingam, the Naga Lingam. So here we have the remarkable Naga Lingam. Here we have the giant serpent coiling around the Shiva Lingam, or the Naga Lingam. This is the remarkable sacred part of this temple with the seven-headed serpent coiling around this phallic lingam symbol, traditionally a Shiva Lingam, but this is actually translates this Naga Lingam as Anu Naga. And so it's something that I learned from Praveen in one of his remarkable videos, where why is there a seven-headed serpent coiling around this lingam rather than a bull, which we actually find a few hundred meters away? So here you can see a ceremony is taking place, just carved in the stone with lingams next to the Naga Lingam. You see the head sticking over the edge there, and then even an elephant or Ganesh on that side there. If we go just here, we have the ultimate Ganesh statue or carving, again into this massive chunk of rock. So we're just walking down one side of the temple here, and we're kind of going into this lower part, but now we think we're going to see the actual giant's footprint, which is the most fascinating part of this site for me, because in tradition, according to when Praveen interviewed a local expert, he said this was for, look, we have a kind of almost like a megalith here. Look at this. Wow. Oh my God. And we have these as well. Look at these. So we have these remarkable discs here carved out of the bedrock. Now officially they look like thali dishes where you get your food served on, but according to the experts and Praveen and other people, they say this is actually a representation of a UFO, and there's actually carvings near Hampi and other areas that even represent that. But look at this. So we're seeing these beautiful reliefs just carved out of the bedrock here, out of granite. Amazing. So here we have the famous giant footprint of Lepakshi Temple. This is insane. That's about, what, 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet long? That is not a small foot. Now clearly it's been carved, but in tradition they say this was actually a giant's footprint that got recarved, and it was actually here thousands of years ago during the Yuga cycle where giants existed. They were up to 15 to 30 feet tall. So this is one of the many giant footprints we find around the world that have mysterious origin. They said that the giants actually built this temple, including the giant bull. So it's just amazing to be here, but just what do you think of this? What do you make of this? It just seems a bit random, but let me know what you think in the comments. So we're just walking through these pillars here. You just see many examples of stunning, beautiful carvings. We have almost like an Atlantean holding up the world. And we have spiral motifs. And down here, we have possibly the most interesting part of the temple. We have a giant footprint. And you can see crowds of kids swarming around it, paying their respects to the ancient giant gods who ruled this area. And just on top of the Hanuman temple, that is thought to be a Vimana, i.e. a ship that takes you to heaven, or even a kind of flying machine according to many ancient Hindu traditions. Just below that, we have the giant footprint. So we're just round one side of the temple. We've got some good megalithic blocks here. We've got this 3D fish on the side there. And we've got these here, look, we've got more of these. So it's not just 3 of them over near the giant footprint. There's several more with sort of some kind of ancient Indian Sanskrit carving. And you can see these all here, look. And then it continues up with this remarkably beautiful stonework. And where that crowd of people are, that is where the giant footprint is. And just over there, where that gentleman's walking with the backpack, that's where more of these kind of what they call food or thali bowls are located. So here we have a classic Shiva Lingam just around the corner from the giant footprint. And this has got paint all over it. It's obviously being used in worship, but it shows you a good example of a combination of the phallicness and then with the water channel kind of moving around it. So water can come in and out of this interior part. Now there's no bull carving here. There is the giant bull nearby, about 200 or 300 meters away from the main temple. But yeah, it's just fascinating that there's 2 of these here. You have the Naga Lingam and you have the Shiva Lingam. What did you think of Lepakshi Temple here in Tamil Nadu, India? To me, this is amazing to see all these different features in one site. The giant footprint, the strange circular UFO type carvings, the hanging pillar and various other aspects. So it's amazing to be here. It's a privilege to be here. Come over with some really good friends from Bangalore, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching Megalithomaniacs, and we're going to keep exploring ancient India. I'll be back with more videos soon. Take care. See you later.